Okay, that's another good one. Editing software. Right, editing software, obviously after you're recording, is the next piece of software you're probably going to use. There are quite a few options, actually. I've written them on my phone. Okay, we'll go, what I'll do is, I'll go with the free ones, possibly the less professional ones, I suppose. Windows Movie Maker. That is an option for you. If you've never done any editing before, or you're not really super into editing, you don't know how to do it, you not have much experience editing, then Windows Movie Maker is probably a good one to start with. It's very simple. You can do really simple things like cutting, adding titles, transitions, and things like that. It's a simple one to get used to. It's free. I think that's the first thing I ever edited on. Not on my YouTube channel. When I used to make videos as a kid, me and my friends used to make videos. We would always use Windows Movie Maker because it's what we had at the time. So I got quite used to using that. And then once you've got the hang of an editing software, they do have similarities. Every editing software is generally, they have some similarities because they're the same thing. They do the same job. I mean, they're all going to work slightly differently, but they tend to have some things that are similar. And if you pick it up in a simple one, then you can apply it later on to more complicated softwares. Okay, we'll go. This is the editing software that I actually use. It's called Videopad. Now, you might not have heard of it. I hadn't heard of it before. Again, I used this before I started YouTube, so I got used to it then. You can get a free copy, but it's for home use, not commercial use. So you can get a copy for free. It does have some settings that you aren't able to use because they're for the pro version only. I don't seem to think that there was many options that you would generally use that were pro only. So it's not too bad. You can use the free version. Videopad is more complex than Windows Movie Maker by far, but not as complex as the more professional ones, I'd say. It's fairly simple to use and get the hang of. You might need to spend some time getting used to it, but it does have a lot more options like green screening. You can create your own effects. It has just a lot more options to it, and you can still make things that look very professional. I'd like to say my videos look professional, but that's up to you to say whether you like the style of my videos. But I use this Videopad to edit all my videos currently. I have wanted to learn more of the complicated softwares. I just haven't got around to it. I haven't had the time. I haven't been able to afford to buy them. I would recommend Videopad. If you want to start real simple, start with Windows Movie Maker and then move up to Videopad and move up that way. If you're fairly confident, start with Videopad. If you're really confident, you've already used more of the expensive professional software, just start with that if you can afford to buy it or find it for free. Okay, more of the expensive software. You have Sony Vegas and Adobe Premiere. Never used them before. Actually, I have looked at Sony Vegas briefly and I didn't get the hang of it immediately, so I think it was just a friend showing me it, but it seems slightly more confusing. Editing software they always have the timeline where you put your videos in, so that's fairly similar between all of them, but you know, the way you cut things and the keys and stuff are different. Like I use a lot of hotkeys in Videopad. I wouldn't be able to take those hotkeys over to Sony Vegas or anything. I wouldn't be able to learn them. But Sony Vegas, Adobe Premiere are considered professional. You can make some really, really good things with those. But obviously they're a lot more complicated. They're a lot more expensive. It's purely down to you what you want to use. And I just want to let you know the options I know of. Obviously, another one is if you're on a Mac, you've got Final Cut Pro. So if you're on a Mac, you have Final Cut Pro, you could use that. Personally, I've never used it. I don't have a Mac, so I don't really know much about that. I'm just giving you the options. A final potential one, there's an editor on YouTube. You can actually edit your videos on YouTube. You just put the videos in and edit them. I have used it slightly, mainly to like cut bits out or like shorten something, not for editing a whole video by any means. I've just used it really, really quickly when there's a tiny bit and it's not worth me editing that tiny bit out, re-rendering and re-uploading. That would take forever. It's quicker for me to do it in YouTube. It's not amazing. It's really not. It was like lagging all over the place. It was slow. It was sluggish. It was not fun to use. In my opinion, you might have a better experience. God damn it, I hope people have a better experience with that than I did, because if that is literally how it works for everyone, it is dumb. The option is there though. If you don't want to download software, you really don't know what you're doing with software, you don't know how to install it, things are too confusing for you, the YouTube editor is very simple. Last point, quickly I want to talk about photo editing, so for your like thumbnails and things like that. You have Photoshop, obviously. Again, an expensive piece of software if you get it genuinely. If you don't get it genuinely, you can get it for free. I find it slightly more complex than I'm used to because I've never really got into it super big. I'd like to get into using Photoshop rather than what I do use. Photoshop's just generally more professional, considered more professional. Free option wise, you've got things like Paint. I wouldn't recommend using Paint. It's there if you really need to use it. Don't use Paint. It's not very good. It's not really for editing. It's more for children to draw on at school. That's what I did. Good option though, in alternatives to Photoshop, is GIMP. It's a stupid name. I'm going to go with it as a stupid name because I have to say GIMP. Especially when I used to be at work and they'd be like, oh, can you edit this photo? And I'd be like, have you got GIMP? And they'd be like, what are you fucking talking about a GIMP for? I'm like, no, it's a software, but it sounds weird. Anyway, it's very similar to Photoshop. You do, it has layers and things like that, which is actually, layers is very important. So layers is very useful. So, just bear that in mind. There's probably more that I don't know. These are just the ones I do know. I use GIMP. GIMP's very useful. I can make an easy thumbnail. I can add fonts to it. I can add brushes to it. I know how to do all that. It's just taking me time to learn it. It's not very complicated to use, but adding brushes and using effects and things just takes time to figure out how you specifically do it with a certain program. It's not too hard to learn, but I'm pretty sure that's everything. So that's more the software side of YouTube, what I use, what I would recommend, what the options are. So I really hope this has been useful for you guys. If you want to see some more YouTube tips, I could talk hardware. I could talk more general video making YouTube tips like I did kind of last time. Let me know in the comments what you guys want to see. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! I've never hated a little red target so much in my entire life. I've also never had a little red target make me feel so sick. Jesus Christ, what is he doing? God damn, this makes me feel sick. Oh, there we go.